just wanted to show you all my outfit. I got these super cute jeans at a vintage shop in Tosin, and I think it's called Knee Deep, but they're so cute. Paired it with my Adidas crop top from Target. They were only like 30 bucks, the pants, but loving the fit, feeling it. Yeah, that's all I had to say. Welcome back to another video. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video if you like it, comment down below, and turn on the notifications so you receive notifications on my future videos. So for today's video, it's going to be another kind of touchy subject for myself, but I will be talking about my struggles with my mental health. We're always a very close family, so me and my siblings, I will call them whenever and wherever. If I'm feeling sad, if I'm feeling happy, if I got good news, like they are the first that I call. We would eat together, we would watch TV together. So mental health wasn't necessarily an issue when I was growing up. And I don't think I started having a problem with it until college, because high school was still chill. Once I got to college, I first started having a hard time because I moved to Iowa to go to school. I didn't realize how close I was to my family until I moved to Iowa, and I couldn't see them anymore on an everyday basis. And my little sister Christine at the time was really young. Like, I think she was like 1 or 2 years old. Like, I started noticing that I was missing out on a few of her firsts, and like I wanted to be there for everything because she was my little sister. Kind of like my kid, but not really, like, because I would babysit her a lot. Like, moving on my own, away from family, away from my twin sister, because my sister decided to go to Urbana-Champaign for her first semester of college, and it was just really hard. I started depending more on friends. You know, I made really good friends for the first time, I think. And you know, I still call those girls every day to text them, like they are my homies. So shout out to Mia, Esme, and Anna. I also started having a lot of relationship problems when I was in Iowa because I decided to do like a long distance relationship with my boyfriend, and it was so hard. Again, like I feel like I was attached to everyone. I was attached to my family, I was attached to my siblings, but I was also really attached to my boyfriend. It really sucked not being able to see him all the time. He wasn't really good at like talking over the phone, and so like it wasn't the same when we would try like calling over the phone. And I felt like, you know, we were missing out on each other's lives. Like, he had gone off to college too, but he stayed in Chicago, and you know, I had left, and it was different, and it was really hard. Every time I would come back to Chicago to like visit my family and like Leo, I would just cry when I would have to leave. I just didn't want to go back to Iowa. So going to school in Iowa was definitely like a culture shock too. So I kind of felt like I didn't belong there. Literally kind of like the only people I would talk to were the 3 girls that were, one of them was my roommate, the other one lived in the same floor, and the other one, she lived in a different building, but like we all still like hung out together. And we were like 4 Latinas, so not necessarily 3 musketeers, but 4 musketeers. That had already started like affecting my mental health. I was also always short on money when I was in Iowa. I was struggling, like I wanted to find a job out there in Iowa, but you're in the middle of literally nowhere. And to get any jobs you needed a car so you could drive to the job. I decided that staying in Iowa was not for me. It was not the move, and I decided to come back to Chicago. I decided to apply to community college because it was already like October. I had missed the deadlines to apply to UIC, and even then I think you needed a certain amount of credits before you could transfer in. And then my sophomore year I started at UIC. As soon as I went back to Chicago, I was again living the life. I was having fun. I still didn't like the fact that I was at community college, and that kind of also just kind of put me down because I saw all my friends like in an actual university, and it just kind of made me feel bad, like I wasn't good enough, I wasn't doing enough. There's not really that many clubs either, so I had went from being at like in Iowa to being in like 5 different clubs and like working to just going to community college and not doing anything else. Again, it did take me a minute to get a job. And so I started working there at the coffee shop and then going to school. Transferred over to UIC and life was still going good. It was getting busier. I was having more problems with making sure I was doing enough, because when you're a pre-med student, you kind of feel like you have to do like a billion things because the checklist to get into medical school is long. And so, you know, I wanted to make sure that I was always doing enough. But my first semester of college, I was only working at the coffee shop, and I was like, great, yeah, this is gonna totally help me become a doctor. I was also part of Medicina Scholars, but like, I think I've touched on this before as well. Like, I always felt like in comparison to other students, like I wasn't doing enough. Like, other students were already doing research, other students were like shadowing and volunteering at hospitals, and I couldn't get my foot in the door. I was like, you know, how do I do this? I guess in a Hispanic family too, when you're the first to go to college, there is a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure because you're kind of the inspiration for everyone else. And once you choose a field like medicine and you tell everyone you want to pursue a career in medicine, the bars are set high. And like, I feel like they don't do it on purpose. They're not like, oh, you said you have to be a doctor, so now you have to be a doctor. But like, you know, you do feel the pressure because everyone's asking you like, oh, how's school? What are you doing? What are you up to now? Like, how's this? How's that? And you kind of like have to have a good answer. Like, it would suck to be like, oh yeah, I'm not doing anything. Like, you know, oh, my hairs are sticking out. What in the world is this? I always felt like this pressure to like have to be doing things as well. And that just kind of started all this stress. Like, I always felt like I had to do something. If I wasn't doing anything, I felt bad about myself. Part of it, I think it kind of did contribute to my weight gain as well, because stress in general can contribute to your weight gain, whether it's like causing you to eat more and things like that. I ended up reaching my peak in like undergrad career during my junior year. By the time I was in my junior year, I was doing research, I was winning awards, I was involved in every pre-med club you could think of. I had leadership positions in like orgs, like I was on e-board. I was checking all these things off my list, and now I felt better emotionally about school. I was like, okay, I'm doing enough now, maybe a little too much, but it's okay, like I'm getting things done. Now I'm becoming a better applicant for medical school. I was also always on this like timeline where like I have to get things done. I'm gonna apply my senior year, because I think I decided I wanted to take a gap year by that time. It's like, yeah, I'll apply my senior year, I'll have 1 year gap year, and then I'll start the following year. And then things don't work out. I started failing some classes because just wasn't studying for them. I wasn't able to study for them. I couldn't concentrate because of what was going on at home. And that started contributing to a lot more depression. I'm like, you know, I have these dreams of becoming a doctor and I can't even pass my classes. Like, how the heck am I supposed to be someone's doctor if I'm over here failing organic chem and stuff like that? And, you know, it was devastating. And I heard like my advisors be like, oh, you know, you can do like masters, you can do a post-bac, you can do this, you can do that. And I'm like, I, again, don't have the money for it. I feel like most pre-meds are under like this like strict timeline where you want to do things in a certain amount of time. You're like calculating the time, or like at what age you're gonna become a doctor, and you're like, shit, like I'm gonna become a doctor at the age of 30, like what the heck? And so you want to like do everything as quick as possible. And honestly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when you become a doctor. You should take time off. You should take a gap year, because you're gonna be in school all of your young years. In school from probably the age of like 5 or 3 if you started preschool, up until you graduate medical school, which can be, if you go straight through, maybe 26. You'll probably be 26. Those are all your good years, your years of partying, your years of being you, your years of traveling, like, and you're gonna be in school all those years, like, and that's rough. You're gonna come out of medical school or residency and your life is gonna be over. No, just kidding. But like, you're gonna start working already, and where did all your like fun years go? So lesson 1, take a gap year, enjoy your young years, go partying, go drinking, get wasted, be a responsible drinker. See, where was I going with this? You know, this is a problem with like me talking too much. I like get lost in my stories. I was failing my classes. I was very upset about that. I was getting really depressed. I had a lot going on at home. There was a divorce going on. There was my mom getting cancer. There was like, you know, trying to, as the older sibling, you kind of see how everyone deals with this, and you want to help. You want to help everyone. You want to make sure your siblings are okay, your dad's okay, your mom's okay. And it's a lot on a person. It's a lot to deal with in combination with school, in combination with studying for your orgo test. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't. And the other issue, and the biggest issue, was that I wasn't reaching out for help. I didn't know how. I let some of my teachers know about my mom's cancer diagnosis, and about their divorce. A lot of my teachers were like very understanding. Like they helped support me, and it was more so like my public health teachers, which is why I love public health teachers, because they are such open-minded people. Like they were always there to like help me, and like if I had like a mental health issue, like they knew my mental health was important, and they would be like, okay, you know, if you need an extension, we'll give you an extension for this paper. Your science classes don't do that. Your science teachers, honestly, most of the time it feels like they don't care. Like you're just one of the 200 kids that they have, and if you know you got personal problems, that's on you. You just gotta study and make it for that test, you know? Or at least that's how I felt. I mean, again, it was my fault. I never like wanted to reach out to those teachers, because those teachers, you know, I feel like I didn't know them as well as like my smaller public health classes. I didn't want to reach out for help because I thought I would be like a bother, like I was bothering people. I thought people would think I was making excuses for myself, like, you know, oh, I can't turn in this essay because, you know, I was crying yesterday all day, but like I thought they would be like, oh no, you're just lazy, like it's not that you're like hurting, but you just don't want to do this work, you know? And so I thought they would like judge me more for that. And so I just kind of like wanted to avoid the whole situation. Like I don't want them to think that I'm lazy. Like I eventually want recommendation letters too from them for medical school. So like let me just pull it together and I'll try to turn in this paper or whatever, or do this test. And it was hard. It was really hard. I felt a lot of pressure. Life was just rough, and I couldn't get it together. Like I felt like I couldn't get it together if like there would be times where I was like studying for my class or whatever, and like I would just start crying about random things that was going on in my life. You know, I felt like I was kind of like on my period for like a whole year or something, like every day, because I was so emotional with everything that was going on. And I feel like I blamed myself a lot. Like I would be like, oh, why can't I just do my work? Why can't I just focus? Like, you know, put mom and dad issues aside. Like, let me just do my schoolwork. Like something's wrong with me, you know? And I guess you get to the point too where like you kind of realize it's not you, and you should reach out for help, but you're too scared. So yeah, I don't think I ever reached out for help in college. Like I had a few people that I could vent to. My mentor for my research, my PI, Dr. Molina, she was there for me. Because like sometimes too, like I would miss her deadlines, or I would miss meetings because I was just like so caught up in everything. Like I was like, I have this to do for school, I have this going on, and I would like forget to do a lot of things. And she'd be like, hey Crystal, you know, we have a meeting right now. And I'd be like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, like let me run over there. And it wasn't necessarily that I was like disorganized. I mean, I could have probably been more organized and like, you know, set alarms and stuff for the meetings, but like I had a calendar and I would like write it down, like, oh, we have a meeting this day, this time, and I would still forget. like I would remember the day of and I'm like, oh yeah, I have a meeting 5 p.m. today, and then it's 1 p.m. oh yeah, I have a meeting at 5 p.m. and then it's 4 o'clock and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go home now or something, you know, like I would like forget. And I think it was all the stress that I was under and anxiety and dealing with depression, that I was turning like so forgetful. Like I felt like I was old already and I had like memory loss or something. I had also reached out to one of my advisors for like my public health degree, and you know, I let him know, I was like, dude, like things aren't going good at home, like I'm really stressed, I don't know what to do, like I feel like I'm struggling with my classes because I'm so stressed. Again, like this idea of forgetting everything would apply to like my schoolwork too. Like I would forget we had papers due or like assignments due, and then like I would freak out and I would like message my teachers. I'm like, I'm so sorry, like I literally forgot that this assignment was due. But like again, imagine how like bad that makes you look, or at least I would always think it made me look bad. My advisor was the one who told me, he's like, Crystal, you know, you should go to counseling, like you need help. But again, I guess the mentality of seeking help, I was like, I'm not crazy, I don't want to go see a counselor, like I'm fine, like I could do this. I just gotta set more reminders and like write in my agenda more, and I was like, I'll just make sure to talk to people. Like, I thought just by like me talking to others, like my mentor or like my advisor or Leo, who was always here for me, like I thought that would be enough, and it helped, it did, but I needed a professional to like tell me how to deal with my issues. And so that's one thing I really regretted not doing in college, is that I never actually sought help. I think it was really hard too because friends didn't necessarily know what was going on at home, or like everything that was like I was going through. And even just like classmates or like, you know, other people I would see on a daily basis because of everything that I was involved in, no one really knew what was going on like behind the scenes. A lot of them just saw that I was over here winning awards and I don't know, doing like traveling, because I think I had started traveling too at that time. Like I was really trying to like help my mental health, and I was like, you know what, I have to do what makes me happy. Research made me happy, and you know, I started devoting all my time to that. I wanted to travel. It was always like things that were on like my bucket list, and so I was like, you know what, like I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go to Peru, I'm gonna go to Nicaragua, I'll sign up for these research conferences, and I'll go to like everything that I can go to. And so I started traveling. I started traveling a lot, and I mean, that's also like what I would post about, because you know, I was happy about all the things that I did. I was proud. And that's what kept me motivated to do good, and like to keep going and pursuing a career in medicine, because I was doing so well in that, and I was like, well, at least if I'm doing good at this, maybe like medical schools will see that I was like involved and actually good at research, and you know, it helped me stay focused. To this day, I'm sorry, I wish this would have ended on a better note. Like I seeked help and I got counseling, but till this day I have not gotten counseling. I have not gotten help. I feel like things have calmed down in terms of like my family and like my personal life. I feel like it's calmed down a bit, so I don't feel that much pressure anymore. I got my degree, so that's like checked. Got the degree. Still doing research, check. Like I haven't sought help, but I'm working on it. So I'm hoping to start getting counseling soon. I mean, I do feel better, but there's just times where like it kind of hits me again, and like I don't want to do anything. I just want to lay in bed. I like everything that I do, including like YouTube or like the Project URM thing that we're trying to start. Like I do it because I love it, and not because anyone is making me, not because like, oh, this will make my med school application look better. Like I could care less what they think of the things that I'm doing, but you know, I do it because I want to help others. I want to create transparency, and I think I've said that before in my videos, but I feel like everyone always sees just like whatever they show on social media, and it's not necessarily always the accurate like depiction of what their life looks like. And I feel like maybe if I wouldn't have started posting these YouTube videos, nobody would have known that like college was probably the worst years of my life, honestly. And I would do it over again just because of all the things I learned and like, you know, the fun that I did have traveling and going to research conferences and like how good that made me feel. But like, damn, it was a struggle. Emotionally, it was a struggle. It's so crazy too, because you know, I'm here trying to be a provider and like trying to like help people you know, have a better mental health, and I can't even get my own mental health right. Like, these are internal struggles I deal with. Like, yeah, I gotta fix myself before I try to fix anyone else's problems. That's what we're working on. Also, I did want to mention too that like before college, like I always thought mental health was fake. I was like, people really want to cut themselves? Like, that's so dumb. Like, don't they know people love them? Or like, don't they know that like they're appreciated? I don't understand. Like, you know, I just thought like mental health was like not a thing, and that if anybody had struggles, it's because they chose them, you know, in a sense. I was so ignorant. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, and it wasn't until like I started dealing with my whole mental health problems and I was like, dang, I was like, I'm sorry, guys. Like, seek help. Talk to your primary care provider, because they honestly know how to treat it. Reach out for help. Don't try to self-harm. Don't do it. Reach out for help. Find someone. Talk to someone. And talk to someone that will listen to you. I know I've made that mistake too, where like I've told people like maybe like personal issues or whatever, and I just kind of felt like I wasn't heard, and then so it kind of like made me feel like my issues weren't important in a sense. And if you come across that, if you come across people who feel like they're making you feel stupid for feeling that way, don't talk to them. Don't tell them your issues, and find someone else to tell you problems to. Don't waste your time on them. Block. Yeah, I'm gonna end this before this video gets too long. But these have been my struggles with my mental health. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video if you like my talk. I'll leave my clinic's information down below if you guys are in the Chicago area and you do want to seek help. We also do telehealth appointments, so you can give them a call and see if they accept your insurance or not, and all of that good stuff. If you also don't have insurance and you still want to be seen, we can see you. We have a sliding scale. See you later, guys.